The sun dipped low behind the crimson cliffs as a lone rider approached Red Rock Ridge. His silhouette stretched long across the sand, tall, broad-shouldered, and carrying the weight of a past he never spoke of. His name was Calder Hayes. Calder wasn't running from the law. He was running from memories. He came to Red Rock Ridge for one reason: to disappear. The town was quiet, just a cluster of weathered storefronts and a saloon with creaking shutters. But to Calder, it was perfect. As he dismounted, he noticed something unusual. A woman standing alone near the post office, her skirt fluttering in the warm desert breeze. She had auburn hair braided loosely over her shoulder, freckles across her sun-kissed cheeks, and eyes sharp enough to read a man's soul. Her name was Tessa McKenna, the town doctor's daughter, and the fiercest barrel racer in 3 territories. Their eyes met only for a moment, but it was long enough. Tessa didn't smile. She simply nodded, as if saying, "Whatever you're hiding, I see it." And then she walked away. Calder exhaled slowly, not realizing he had been holding his breath.
Chapter 2. Threads of the Past. Calder found work at the old Remington Ranch, repairing fences and tending cattle. Days passed quietly, but nights were harder. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same thing: a burning cabin, a gunshot, the face of someone he failed to save. Meanwhile, Tessa watched him from a distance, intrigued but cautious. The town whispered rumors about him. "That new ranch hand ain't who he says he is. Saw him draw a gun in less than a heartbeat. He's trouble." But Tessa didn't believe gossip. She believed what she could see. And what she saw was a man who carried grief like a second shadow.
Chapter 3. A Night at the Saloon. The saloon was lively, lanterns glowing warm on the wooden walls. Tessa walked in wearing a navy blue riding dress, boots dusty from practice. Calder was at the bar, quiet as always. Then trouble arrived. A group of outlaws known as the Cinder Creek Boys pushed through the doors, laughing too loud, drinking too fast. Their leader, Flint Riker, spotted Tessa instantly. "Well, if it ain't the prettiest thing in Red Rock Ridge," he sneered. Tessa ignored him. Flint didn't like being ignored. He reached for her arm, but before he touched her, a hand clamped around his wrist. "Calder." His voice was low, calm, dangerous. "Let go, now." The entire saloon froze. Flint laughed. "You got a death wish, cowboy?" Calder didn't move. Flint hesitated, then pulled back with a scoff. The outlaws left, but the message was clear. They'd be back. Tessa looked at Calder, her voice soft but steady. "Thank you." Calder tipped his hat. Just didn't want trouble. Tessa smiled, the first real smile he'd seen from her. "You're in the wrong town, then." Chapter 4. Starlight Conversations. Tessa found Calder later that night by the horse pens, brushing down his mare. "Why does a man who draws a gun that fast work fixing fences?" she asked gently. Calder didn't answer at first. Then, quietly, "Because I'm tired of hurting people." Tessa stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't think you're the kind of man who hurts people." Calder looked up at the stars, endless, silent, forgiving. It had been a long time since someone believed in him. Chapter 5. The Storm over Remington Ranch.
A desert storm rolled in fast. Lightning cracked across the ridge, and thunder shook the earth. Calder rushed to gather the cattle as rain began to pour. But Tessa, stubborn, brave Tessa, rode into the storm to help him. They worked side by side, soaked, breathless, fighting wind and mud. At one point, Tessa slipped from her saddle, and Calder caught her, arms wrapped tightly around her waist. For a moment, time stopped, her face inches from his, her breath warm against his skin. But Calder pulled away first. "You should go home." Tessa's eyes softened. "You keep pushing me away, Calder Hayes. One day, I'm gonna push back."
Chapter 6. The Outlaws Return. The Cinder Creek boys rode into town at dawn, guns loaded, faces angry. They'd heard about Calder. They'd heard too much. Flint cornered Tessa behind the general store, his voice low and venomous. "Your cowboy friend made a fool of me. Someone's gotta pay." But before he touched her, a gun clicked behind him. Calder again. Only this time, Tessa could see something in his eyes, something darker, something colder, a side of him he never wanted anyone to see. But he didn't pull the trigger. Instead, he said, "Leave, before I stop holding back." The outlaws rode off, humiliated. But humiliation breeds hatred, and hatred brings war.
Chapter 7. The Secret Revealed. That night, Tessa found Calder sitting alone on the ridge. "Tell me the truth," she said softly. "No more hiding." Calder closed his eyes, the memories flooding back. He told her everything. How he used to be a deputy marshal. How he arrested a gang who swore revenge. How they burned his cabin and killed the woman he planned to marry. How he lost everything. Tessa listened silently, tears in her eyes, not from fear, but from heartbreak for him. When he finished, he whispered, "I came here to disappear, to keep people safe from me, and from what follows me." Tessa placed her hand over his. "Calder, you didn't bring danger to Red Rock Ridge. You saved us from it." He met her gaze. For the first time, he didn't look away.
Chapter 8. A Dance in the Dust. The town held a small summer fair, lanterns hanging from wooden beams, fiddles playing under the warm night sky. Calder wasn't a dancer. Not anymore. But when Tessa reached out her hand, he couldn't say no. They danced slow, swaying gently as the desert wind carried laughter across the square. Tessa leaned her head against his chest. Calder froze, then slowly, carefully wrapped his arms around her. For the first time in years, he felt at peace.
Chapter 9. The Raid at Dawn. Peace didn't last. The Cinder Creek boys returned at sunrise, this time with dynamite, rifles, and vengeance. Shots echoed across the ridge. Calder grabbed his revolver and ran straight into the chaos, protecting the townsfolk, pushing Tessa behind cover. He fought like a man who'd already lost everything once and refused to lose it again. The outlaws fled, but Tessa was missing. Calder's heart nearly stopped. He found her moments later, trapped inside the burning barn. Without hesitation, he ran in, flames licking at his coat, smoke choking his lungs. He carried her out in his arms, collapsing in the dust beside her. Tessa gasped for air, then whispered, "You always come for me." Calder answered hoarsely, "Always." Chapter 11. The Final Showdown. The sheriff formed a posse to end the Cinder Creek boys once and for all. Calder led the charge. The showdown happened at Black Mesa. Rocky terrain, dust clouds swirling like smoke, the echo of gunfire bouncing off cliffs. Calder faced Flint in a final duel. Flint fired first, missed. Calder didn't. When the dust settled, the gang was finished. And Calder Hayes was finally free.
Chapter 12. Under the moon at Red Rock Ridge. Calder returned to Tessa, exhausted, wounded, but alive. They walked to the top of the ridge, the place where everything started. The moon hung low and silver over the desert. Tessa took his hand. Calder whispered, "I never planned on loving again." She squeezed his fingers. "Life doesn't care about our plans." He leaned down, pressing his forehead to hers. "Tessa McKenna, if you'll have me, I'd like to stay." Tessa smiled, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Calder, you are already home." They kissed softly, the desert wind wrapping around them like a warm embrace. And under the moonlit sky of Red Rock Ridge, two broken hearts finally found their way back to love.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Western love stories under the open sky.